He that is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else. That's not me, that's Ben Franklin. You've probably heard of him. Donald Trump is not someone who accepts losing, like, at all. Whether in his decades in the business world or in his second life as a politician and president, his career is marked with a refusal to acknowledge when he has come up short, and to paint his losses as wins. Yes, I know it's weird, but it's what he does. Trump appeared triumphant after declaring bankruptcy. He touted his victory after a Republican Congress failed to fully repeal the Affordable Care Act. He said, without evidence, he, of course, would have won the 2016 popular vote if 3 to 5 million illegal votes had not been cast. In Trump's world, he can't lose because, well, Trumps never lose. It follows, then, that Trump is already planting the seeds to blame someone else if he loses in 2020. And who will he blame? Why, the media, of course. He would have won easily if he had received positive press coverage. His loss isn't actually a loss because he won by proving that the media is so corrupt. Ooh, sidebar. It all reminds me of the scene in the remarkable HBO series Chernobyl, where one of the leaders of the cleanup effort is told by the higher-ups in the Russian government that a global nuclear disaster simply cannot happen in Russia, except that it was happening. Sidebar over. In 2015, Trump went on this monologue about winning, and also not losing, to the Washington Post. Quote, "My whole life is about winning. I always win. I win at golf. I'm a club champion many times at different clubs. I win at golf. I can sink the 3-footer on the 18th hole when others can't. My whole life is about winning. I don't lose often. I almost never lose." End quote. At a campaign rally in Indiana in 2018, Trump offered a shorter version of that life mission statement.
We love winners. We love winners. Winners are winners.
So true. So very true. Which brings me to earlier this month and a Trump tweet he sent just before participating in a ceremony in Portsmouth, England, commemorating the 75th anniversary of D-Day. Tweeteth Trump, quote, "If the totally corrupt media was less corrupt, I would be up by 15 points in the polls based on our tremendous success with the economy, maybe best ever. If the corrupt media was actually fair, I would be up by 25 points. Nevertheless, despite the fake news, we're doing great." End quote. If there is any thread of consistency in Trump's messaging to the American people over these last 4 years, it's this. The media is corrupt, they didn't want me to win, they don't want me to succeed, and they will do anything in their power to ensure that outcome in 2020. Now, a quick bit of digging shows that Trump, A, has already trotted out other similar excuses to explain away his low approval numbers, and B, his assessment of where he would be without the so-called fake news is, and this is my surprise face, way off base. As recently as last month, Trump was blaming Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election for the state of his poll numbers. Quote, "Without the illegal witch hunt, my poll numbers, especially because of our historically great economy, would be at 65%, he tweeted, adding, "Too bad. The greatest hoax in American history," end quote. So, which is it? The Mueller probe or the terrible media? Chicken and the egg, 6 one, half dozen the other, glass half full, glass half empty. I ran out of cliches. Then there is this idea that Trump's approval rating would be in the mid to high 60s if not for the negative news coverage and or the Mueller investigation, which is, well, preposterous. The only time Barack Obama hit those polling heights was in the first few months of his first term, according to Gallup's numbers. George W. Bush actually got to 90% approval in the immediate aftermath of the September 11, 2001 attacks, but spent most of the second half of his presidency well below 50%. And Trump has never gone over 50% job approval in any Gallup weekly approval tracking poll since he was elected. Repeat, never. To be clear, there's no question that much of the coverage of Trump's presidency has been heavily tilted to what Trump would consider negative. But that coverage is the result of a president who has an itchy Twitter finger, a penchant for veering wildly off message, and an ahistorical approach to his job. And it's not clear that the coverage of Trump is what's driving his negatives as opposed to the president himself doing it. No matter where the truth lies, you can bet that Trump will continue to push the idea that he would be winning his re-election race easily if the fake news media would cover him even close to fairly, and that if he winds up losing, he will lay that defeat, assuming he acknowledges it at all, at the feet of a media who spent 4 years trying to get him. Trump hates to lose, which is why he will refuse to do it, or at least refuse to accept it if it happens. And that is the point. We make New Point episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. Check them all out.